For 12 long months, the lacrosse world has waited for the greatest 2-hour show in the game. And now, it's only minutes away. For Princeton, the 90s were a date with destiny as they captured 5 national titles. A 6th would come last season in overtime against Syracuse. The Tigers tournament tear continued on Saturday as they jumped out early against #1 ranked Johns Hopkins and never looked back. A 7th is in the eye of the Tigers. With 20 consecutive trips to the Final Four and 4 straight championship game appearances, the Orangemen have a bit of history of their own. But Syracuse almost became history on Saturday as they trailed Virginia in the waning moments. An unlikely hero from the Orangemen would score twice. A game-tying goal with 25 seconds left. And a second in sudden death. The rematch is set. ESPN presents exclusive coverage of the NCAA Lacrosse Championships. Today live from Rutgers Stadium in Piscataway, New Jersey. It's the Princeton Tigers challenging the Syracuse Orangemen for the national championship. Hi everyone, my name's Leif Elsmo. I'll be bringing you the play-by-play, joined by 4-time All-America Quint Kesnick. Quint, this is the matchup everybody wants to enjoy watching.
Memorial Day in this country is known for red, white, and blue and patriotism, but in lacrosse, it's all about being orange. These two programs combined 12 out of the last 14 national titles.
Let's take a look at the stars that will lead through these teams into their victory challenge. We'll start with Princeton. On the offensive end, they may play slow down, they may play up-tempo, but it always goes through Ryan Boyle.
Boyle, the sophomore from Baltimore, Ivy League Player of the Year, 19 goals, 33 assists. His lacrosse intellect, his lacrosse IQ is superior. Very few turnovers, always makes the smart passes. Now, when Boyle's on top of his game, B.J. Prager can thrive inside. On Saturday in the semifinals, he had 5 goals. He's a classic old-school crease attackman, rarely strays more than 5 yards away from the cage. You get him the ball, you see the quick release, he buries it in the back of the net. He's got 117 career goals. He shoots about 50% from the field. But the Princeton dynasty is built on defense, and that man right there, Damian Davis, one of the best one-on-one defenders in the country, physically imposing, great size, great strength. He has a tough matchup today. He'll either draw Mike Powell or Josh Kaufman.
Well, the Syracuse Orangemen have become an icon for explosive offense, and it starts with their All-American attack players.
2 creators on offense. They put up huge numbers. They average over 14 goals per game as a team because of that tandem right there. It's Powell and Kaufman. They love to draw the double and triple team, and then they spin it to their open teammates. Now, when Powell and Kaufman get it moving, the main beneficiary will be Michael Springer, the junior from New Jersey in front. They call him the stealth bomber because of his outside shot, the great powerful right-handed cannon. But on Saturday, he put up 4 goals, mostly from the inside. Syracuse has some talent on defense as well. All-American John Glatzel, perhaps the best in the game, a native of Baltimore. He can do it all, the takeaways, the great passing, the leadership on defense.
Joining us today on the sideline will be Steve Cyphers to bring us the inside stories, like the injury to starting defenseman for Syracuse, Saul Bliss. Steve?
Saul Bliss injured his knee late in the second quarter Saturday, played 5 minutes of the third quarter before coming out and sitting on the bench for 43 hours. They've kept an eye on it. It's described as a minor knee sprain. He does have a brace. He is taped. John Desko said he would evaluate him in the pregame to see if he was good to go to start the game. It appears that's the case. He will start. Bliss will start and see how long they can go with him. Leaf.
All right, the matchups are set. A rematch of the championship from last year. The opening face-off when we return.
The seesaw battle for the Western Conference continues and now moves back to Detroit. In Game 4, Sackett and Drury scored late to clinch victory. Now Game 5, Avs, Red Wings, 7 p.m. tonight on...
Our NCAA Lacrosse Championships from Rutgers Stadium, all set to go. Leif Elsmo, Quint Kesnick, Steve Cyphers on the sideline. A lot of great stars in the game. Let's start with the goalies, Quint. Always important.
For Princeton, they will start Julian Gould, the junior from Nyack, New York. He has won 8 straight ball games, 60%, an excellent season for Gould. He's really known for his angle play, just being solid, don't give up any bad goals, nothing flashy from Gould.
You've got a young guy in the Syracuse Pipes.
A redshirt freshman from Baltimore, Jay Pfeiffer. 54% on the season, but he's coming off his best game of the year by far. 19 saves in the semifinals against Virginia. He was my MVP in that semifinal.
Let's take a look at the starting lineups for these two fine teams. We'll start with the Princeton offense, led by Boyle, Hartoflis, the great left-handed shooter, Prager, the finisher inside. Defensively, Billy St. George, John Glatzel, the first-team All-America, Solomon Bliss, let's watch his injury. They've played together 2 years in a row now. Dumont, Clark, and Daly in the midfield for Princeton. Syracuse matches them with Wright, Brian Soliday, and Sean Lindsay. Then, on the offense for Syracuse, All-America Mike Powell, All-America Josh Kaufman, and All-America Michael Springer. A great attack. And then, defending them, Scott Farrell on the inside, Brian Lieberman and Damian Davis taking charge of business on the defensive end. Face-offs, always critical, Quint. Who comes up to the plate today?
It's going to be a huge matchup. Like both face-off teams have struggled as of late. Chris Bickle from Syracuse and Drew Casino right there. That is John Desko. In his 4th season, all he has done is taken this team to the finals for 4 straight years. He took over from the great Roy Simmons Jr. and has continued the legacy. 20 straight Final Fours for the Syracuse Orangemen.
And Bill Tierney, what can you say about him? Nothing but success since '92.
Their playoff record is 20-0 against the field, but it's 4-4 against Syracuse. The only team that can beat Bill Tierney in the playoffs has been the Syracuse Orangemen.
That's why the matchup is so dynamic. The teams are out meeting with the referees. They get some last-minute instructions. The goalies shake hands. Opposing teammates shake hands. Now we go to the face-off circle. Quint, let's define the roles on the face-off.
Face-off is much like a little wrestling match. The players battle for the scrum. It's Drew Casino on the left for Princeton, 52%, and Bickle on the right. These guys are very similar in size and styles, but the wing guys, you see them up at the top of the screen. That's Bogger for Princeton and Sebastiani for Syracuse. Those guys are crucial, coming in and scooping up the loose balls.
Possession time, always critical. Historically, Princeton likes to control the tempo of the game, but this year especially, Princeton has shown that they can up-tempo. They did it against Georgetown in their first playoff of this series.
The official Butch West just checking out the sticks. All sticks must meet a set of standards, and they are checked routinely at the end of quarters and prior to the game.
Princeton in black, Syracuse in white, as you saw there. No time on the clock. The opening whistle will get us started for this dream matchup. The two best teams of the last 12 years going at it again. Sebastiani can't get his stick on it, pushes it up. Lindsay tries to get possession. And it's Princeton that gets the loose ball. Kyle Bogger getting double team, 3 players on him. Now they've got numbers. Princeton will get a shot. In close and it goes wide. Great job by Princeton to get it to Drew Casino, who stayed on the field, and he had numbers. An open shot that goes wide.
Bogger made the huge loose ball play. Casino was almost cherry-picking behind the Syracuse defense. One of the long stickers for Syracuse down below blocked that shot.
Princeton with their first offensive set. This is Josh White, a great surprise this year in his offensive numbers as they push the ball down now with Dan Clark. Down low, there's Hartoflis, low to high with the left-handed shot. 1-0 Princeton.
Hartoflis with the deceptive lefty laser. I tell you, the guy's got the smoothest hands in the game. But Dan Clark gets the offense in motion, drives right down the seam. You see Billy St. George step up, but the second slide coming across is too late. Hartoflis plants his feet, and look at that. Elevator shot, top shelf, beating Pfeiffer.
Slow starts have been a problem for Syracuse. Let's take a look at Hartoflis at 6 feet, 181. Tremendous left hand when he gets time and room. He was right where he wanted to be. And look at Syracuse again, finally picking up the loose ball.
Sebastiansky comes up with that loose ball.
Look at the help coming from Glatzel as he comes way up. He likes to get in the offensive flow, but carries it a little too long. Glatzel, a little too confident. Ball still in the Princeton zone. They come back with possession. Brian Lieberman. Hartoflis, now he settles down, goes back to Boyle.
The clearing game for Princeton, getting the ball out of their defensive zone with guys like Lieberman, Davis, and Farrell, so crucial because Syracuse, Powell, Kaufman, and Springer, they ride. They forecheck so hard. They look for transition off of turnovers.
Dumont up top. To the wing, another hard shot, and that one picked out by Pfeiffer. What a nice job. Wide open on the wing. Daly really put some pressure on Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer, the redshirt freshman, never loses his cool. He has given up some goals early in games this year to rally late, and that time he just stayed on his line.
Finally, Syracuse gets it up into their offensive zone. It's been a while. Walker gets it up. Offense will change now. We'll get some firepower in there. The defensive midfield goes off. Springer goes behind to control. They wing it back out now to Spencer Wright from California, number 6. Sean Lindsay, 21. They work it back around. Springer will normally be on the crease. He's dead behind the goal right now. You'll see him end up probably in front of the goal unless they're going for different matchups. Lindsay. Working at the Michael Powell. Michael Powell, Damian Davis playing him. That's the marquee matchup for today on this end of the field. Lindsay with some great speed, working on Owen Daly. Now off to the wing. Lieberman locked up on Kaufman. Kaufman with his change of direction. Roll dodge goes to the pipes. He had a man backside. Gould gets his first save off his feet. I thought maybe Kaufman would go to the back door. He didn't. Here comes Princeton.
Kaufman tried to sneak it past him on the near side. A clearing mistake by Princeton, but Boyle, master of ground balls, bails his teammate out.
Boyle was sensational in the semifinal game with his ground ball work. Son Hartopoulos pulls it down. He's got Billy St. George playing defense on him. His defensive unit for Syracuse has played together a lot of games. They know each other well.
Normally, Saul Bliss would cover Hartopoulos, the lefty. But because of Bliss's knee injury, they've got him matched up with B.J. Prager in front. And just expect Saul Bliss to face guard Prager all day, not give the little crease attackman many good looks at the cage.
Prager can kill you with big games like he did in the semis. Inside move, Princeton. And they're calling it a good goal. In the crease, could have taken it away. Pellegrino comes spinning in, the senior midi. Makes it a 2-0 game for Princeton.
Pellegrino, an unsung potential star today because Princeton will do what we call the invert offense. They take Walther, Syracuse's defensive midfielder, behind. They give him a lot of space to operate. You'll notice no double team. Pellegrino tiptoes the crease. That has been the formula to score against Syracuse. Isolate with your midfielders behind the cage. Syracuse's last 4 losses, Loyola and Princeton last season, and this year, Cornell and Johns Hopkins, all due to their poor invert defense.
That's the book on Syracuse. Slow starts against Princeton is also a trademark that their coach doesn't like. Here comes a fast break off the face-off. Sloppy passing, but great defense by Lieberman. Puts it back on the ground. Still loose. Inside pressure for the shot and rope for Syracuse. They burn the upper corner with Jared Park getting the loose ball. Park wheels to his right and goes high and hard.
Second chance opportunity for the Orange. They convert off the failed clear. Jared Park, one of the best athletes, only a freshman. He was the Big East Soccer Rookie of the Year with 14 assists this season. Blinding speed, a physical specimen. He's still young. And look at the jump shot. Nails the corner. Syracuse on the board. There's Park. Great looking 6'1", 195. A lot of ground balls on the wings of faceoffs, but in transition and off any kind of chaos, he's a danger to score.
Well, with his run, they put Matt Bontates on the wing right now, Syracuse does, on this next faceoff. Brings some fresh legs in there. And look at the move by Casino. Pushing in for the fast break. Princeton gets it down into their zone. Saul Bliss comes back, pushes it to Pfeiffer. Talk about the starts, Quint. Last year in the championship game, Princeton got off to an easy first lead. Earlier this season, Princeton got off to a 4-0 lead. Syracuse didn't even score in the first quarter. It's been a tough start against Princeton for Syracuse the last several times they've met.
That's what I was mentioning earlier. Princeton 4-4 in NCAA tournament history against Syracuse. And look at the domination of everybody else. 20-0 versus all other teams. We'll talk about their success in close ball games also as this game matures.
Michael Powell, Damian Davis gets a pick by Springer. Goes inside, Hardy! Can't beat Gould. That was Hardy's shot that tied the game against Virginia in the semifinals. And Gould read it perfectly. Good riding effort on the sideline by Syracuse Steve Ballone.
Princeton struggled to clear the ball in key games this year, specifically the quarterfinal win over Georgetown, a 1-goal victory with 4 seconds to go. But twice in that game, Georgetown broke the Princeton clear, scooped it up, and scored easy goals. Ballone with some terrific hustle. The offensive players of Syracuse playing some defense in that zone.
Syracuse now in one of their only set and settled offensive moments. This is maybe their second set offense. As Ballone comes in, looks for the left-handed shot, and Gould picks it off easily. So Gould looking sharp early.
A junior, but a first-year starter. He's got to be happy getting his feet wet here. A couple easy saves will boost your confidence as a goaltender.
Princeton takes time to get their offensive set and the players that Hilton wants out on the field. Brad Dumont, number 6, starts it all. Shots so far 4-2 in favor of, 4 shots and 2 goals for Princeton, so they are really putting pressure on Piper. Another shot. Look at Piper playing so hard in the goal. They're getting their shots easily, and Piper has come up huge early.
It was Dumont with the left-hander out front. Syracuse better realize that he is predominantly a lefty. He can sting the ball from the outside. And then Hartopoulos comes up with a rebound, working hard in front. But Piper held his ground. And the nice clear. I tell you, Syracuse's defenders handle the ball so efficiently deep in their zone.
Lieberman on Kaufman. Kaufman to your left of the screen, waiting with the ball to the numbers come in, the right guys in the midfield. The offensive set's in there. Now Kaufman. He'll roll dodge left to right. Left to right is his favorite move. Starting left, roll dodging back to his right. Lieberman shuts him down easily, and they move the ball.
Kaufman was asking for the hold call. Lieberman spread his hands wide on that long defensive pole. It's about 6 feet in length. And he was tying Kaufman up.
Syracuse up top, inside. Spencer Wright with room. Down low to Powell. 3 fakes. He's got rope, and it's a tie game. Michael Powell had time to put the double whammy on him, and he gets it high on goal.
This is a great 3-man play. If you can freeze it right here, you see Spencer Wright. The double team by Princeton's defense leaves him alone. He will catch in traffic, and now the defense steps up to him, leaving Powell alone at the near post. So a wonderful, what we call a 3-man midfield play up top. Princeton's defense, they are aggressive to the ball, and Syracuse with some tic-tac-toe passing, they capitalize. Wonderfully orchestrated by the Syracuse offense.
Michael Powell and Jared Park have answered Hartopoulos and Pellegrino. And now Princeton, with a great riding effort, gets the ball back. Gould up to Balger. Balger inside, walks it up, top, down, low, and Prager. Big time shot. Ryan Soliday brings the ball back up, and a lot of anxious moments and big saves early, Quint. Piper in particular has really been pressured.
The anxiety of a championship game, very apparent. The game's got a helter-skelter pace to it, very hectic, but the goalies have stood tall.
2 goal runs for each team. Shots about even. Princeton 7-6 in that regard. Spencer Wright to Kaufman as he wheels up with Lieberman playing defense. Barger, the short stick defender, down low with Soliday. And this is a matchup with Sean Lindsay carrying the ball. Parma playing defense for Princeton. Double team coming. Barger comes into double team. Into the crease. Nobody there. Flag down. It'll be a penalty against Princeton.
Holding violation against Anthony Perna, one of the many New Jersey native players on this Princeton roster. Coach Tierney shaking his head, trying to work the officials early.
Now he's going to call out. Tell him there's 30,000 people here. This isn't Hopkins' house.
Bill Tierney trying to at the referees. He knows he cannot probably win the extra man award. The team that leads the nation in extra man efficiency is wearing the white jersey today. Almost 50% efficiency for Syracuse on the season. The first extra man set, 6 against 5 for 30 seconds.
So many different weapons here. The left-handers are Soliday and me. Spencer Wright is inside. Powell is parked behind the cage.
Rotation, Kaufman goes inside. Powell all alone. Big follow-up off the Michael Powell shot. And Gould made one save. The next one goes wide. Great play as Rosenbaum gets possession. Redirecting up to Scott Farrell. Now they'll fight for it in the middle of the field, and Princeton all over the ball has shut down that extra man.
Farrell panicked right there. The penalty was released, so Princeton had the right numbers for their clear. Maybe there was some kind of timing violation, but he just threw the ball up the field. And Princeton, as they did on Saturday, winning the key ground balls. When the ball's loose, that really triggers their extra possessions.
They are sensational at it, little things. Nobody does it better than the Princeton Tigers. Went that first frenetic 10 minutes of the game in the national championship of 30,000 people has kind of calmed down. Each team got 2 goals, and now we'll get into their normal game plan on a normal emotional level.
Princeton's going to pick on Walther. Brett Walther, number 4 for Syracuse. They believe he is the weakest link, so to speak, defensively.
Princeton taking their time. Josh White working tough on the defense. Pushaw can't handle him. White comes sliding in and unassisted makes it a 3-2 Princeton lead.
I am shocked that Syracuse is not respecting these Princeton ball handlers and the fact that we've gotten 2 straight unassisted goals by Princeton. White leaning in with his great strength. The left-hander spent 2 years in the Army at Ranger School. He's the oldest Princeton Tiger. Shows good speed here, but where's the double team? He carries this ball and is barely touched. You've got to be physical inside, much like hockey folks. Take the body, help your teammate out.
Syracuse winning 4 of the 5 faceoffs and now 5 of the 6. Princeton doesn't mind giving up the faceoff advantage they have in years past if you don't score, and that's been their secret. If it doesn't turn into a goal, it's not something that's going to drive Coach Tierney crazy. Syracuse gets their line in with Steve Valone, Hardy, and Smith, number 44, who carries it behind, looking for his short stick matchup. Smith driving the right power move, double team comes. He works the ball backside, open shot, Kaufman off the iron. It was set up perfectly back to X, backside to Kaufman, but he hits the pipe, and here comes Damian Davis. Looks for an open man, has one backside. Takes the shot wide to the right, but it was backed up by Prager. Princeton has possession. Steve, what about the shot times of these clocks?
Hey, Lee, to give you an idea of what Piper's facing today, we've got the speed gun down here. That shot by Davis was just 58 miles an hour. How does that relate to other sports? Randy Johnson, look at him. He's a 97-mile-an-hour fastballer. In hockey, Al McInnes with the Blues, he's been clocked at 102. Then there's Andy Roddick on the tennis court. He's 142. My man, Scott Giglio, today says the highest he's seen so far is in the mid-90s this weekend.
All right, Steve. Perspective on the speed of the shots. We've got the jugs guns on either end. And in the upper left, you'll see the time of the shot drop down if we can catch it on the jugs gun if it's over 70 miles an hour. Springer comes off the crease, settles things down. Syracuse down 3-2. They have been in this familiar position with Princeton many times.
Springer's got the fastest shot probably on the field. He's been clocked in non-competition well above 100 miles an hour at about 104. In game competition, I think the highest he's reached is about 96. But if he can set his feet and Princeton packs it in too tight defensively, look out. He may be able to break that 100-mile-an-hour range.
Michael Powell just called a play. Lindsay comes out, asks for the ball from Kaufman. Lindsay will initiate up top with his one-on-one move. Watch inside. They spread the field for him. Soliday came inside, giving Lindsay a little bit of space to go for that left-handed shot.
Nice take by Lindsay. The key so far, if you notice, Mike Powell has not been challenging Damian Davis. It's almost as if Syracuse is willing to concede that matchup and focus on Kaufman.
Kaufman is a key to the game, and he gets the third goal for Syracuse. When he scores more than a point in a game, he can kill the opposition. So many weapons, and Quint, this was a perfect one-on-one move with a high fake and a low finish.
They really clear out well. You'll see the whole side of the field is free. He spins. It's called a finalizer move, a little pick from Powell. No help defensively. Lieberman may struggle against Kaufman, and that has really been the reason for Syracuse's success. When you have a player like Powell and that man right there, Josh Kaufman, two players, so tough, very tough to find defensive men to match up with them.
6 goals scored in this game, and 6 different players have done the scoring. Great balance on both ends of the field. Tremendous hustle on the loose ball. Syracuse facing Perna and Princeton. They do such a great job on the loose ball. Prager, back door, Boyle. He's coming in for the shot, and he goes high and hard for goal number 4. They reversed their roles. Prager got the attention of the defense. He goes back to Boyle, normally the feeder, and he buries number 4.
This play started in the corner. Glatzel overplayed Boyle a bit. Boyle has deceptive speed. Drew the double team. You see him pressing behind the cage. Watch the white jerseys. Bliss right there gets hung up. He just doesn't have the speed with that knee brace, and then goes back to Prager, his original man, leaving Boyle wide open. The classic give and go between Boyle to Prager, back to Boyle.
Casino keeping the ball alive for the wings to come in and bail him out, and that's exactly what they do.
Princeton timeout on the far side. Rosenbaum continues to be a hero for Princeton. Had a monster day on Saturday.
We'll take a short break and come back to our first quarter action. Bill Tierney and Princeton lead by 1.
Get me on
Stadium Live, our ESPN coverage of the Lacrosse Championships. It's the championship game. Princeton and Syracuse, Leaf, Elsmo, Quint Kesnick. The speed in sports that Steve Cyphers talked about. Let's demonstrate it, Quint, in pictures.
Randy Johnson, 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Al McInnes, 102 on his slap shot. And don't blink if you're playing Andy Roddick in the U.S. Open, because his serve is moving at 142 miles an hour. In lacrosse, we're up in the 90s this weekend. These shooters set their feet and let it rip. And we have Jugs guns behind both cages. These guys taking their lives. He's not a radar guy on I-95.
He's not wearing a helmet either. Princeton inbounds, their first time out of the second half, as they lead by 1. When they played in the regular season, they got up to a 4-0 lead, Quint. Syracuse didn't even score in the second quarter, and Syracuse ended up winning that. Last year, similar lead early, and Princeton won. Josh White scored the last goal, taking his time on the wing. Princeton looking to get an advantage behind. Trevenant, White, into the crease, and a finishing shot by Boyle. All kinds of rotations inside, and unlikely feeders to unlikely finishers. Trevenant is the leading assist guy that's not on the attack.
Trevenant got Sebastianski caught up in the net, and then the Syracuse defense was again on the ropes. They were completely confused. Watch it right here, the little, what we call the finalize move. Stop on a dime, twist, the defender slips, they double team and kick it to the wing. White geeked that pass, actually. He was looking to shoot and really didn't put that where he wanted it to, but Boyle was all alone in front. The ball movement by Princeton right now, they're isolating the matchups, and they're kicking it to their teammates. They are looking extremely efficient, and Syracuse defensively has no answers right now.
Quint, and I think it's non-traditional matchups that they're doing. They're sending Boyle, normally the guy who carries the ball and feeds. He's coming through for finishing shots, giving a little bit of a change-up and a wrinkle to Syracuse's defense. Now they're back on the attack. Springer comes way outside, 6'4", that laser shooter is. Spencer Wright. Soliday up top. This is a big unit out here on the offense. Look at Soliday's rocket shot, right-hander, backed up easily by Mikey Powell.
83 miles an hour with a screen. Just seeing if Gould was respecting him.
Powell tries to get it up top. Wright trying to back it up and just gets there in time before Owen Daly. They're trying to get the ball out front to Lindsay. Didn't connect. Back to Kaufman behind. Well, that's Powell to Kaufman. Princeton will play a lot of different defensive sets, a lot of different slide packages, maybe no more complicated in the game than from Princeton. Wheels and fires. Kaufman got his shot off, and it's backed up by Mike Powell. Going after Damian Davis this time. In front, finishing shot by Soliday. Mike Powell causes all kinds of problems when he gets on his horse. He had Damian Davis tied up, and the slide had to come, and when it did, Powell found his man.
Anytime Powell isolates, you'll see the Princeton defenders right here staring at the ball. Look at, they double team. He leaves his man. Soliday fills the open space. He follows his defender. Well done by Soliday, knowing that Powell's going to draw the attention of his defense. We call that ball watching, and you don't want to do it defensively. Soliday, though, smart enough to capitalize.
An unbelievable pace. 9 goals scored in the first quarter, well above any projections of a championship game in Division I. These teams are going at it, and that'll end the first quarter if it doesn't go in. And, of course, out of bounds with 1 second. Pfeiffer will have to burn that 1 second off the clock. John Desko looking on, saying, whoa, can we handle this pace for the rest of the day? The 1 second is burned off the clock. Princeton scored first. Syracuse scored last, but it's 5-4 Tigers as we go to the second quarter.
Hi.
Welcome back to Rutgers Stadium. Princeton leads by 1. That's only the first quarter score, folks. That could be a full game in some instances. Our ESPN game track from quarter 1.
Artopoulos got it going. Princeton's first possession, but the passing inside Spencer Wright very unselfishly finds Mike Powell. Multiple fakes. It's in the back of the net. And then the unassisted goals for Princeton. That one by Boyle. White has a goal and assist. Pellegrino has a nice unassisted goal as well. Fireworks. Didn't expect it, but it makes for a great game.
It certainly does, and the lead, early lead, by Princeton is not that uncommon, as I've mentioned, in matchups between these two teams.
Talking to Coach Tierney today, he felt if they could keep it close, eventually they could wear down the Syracuse team. A team that Saturday, folks, played a double overtime game against Virginia. An all-time epic battle where both teams just went toe-to-toe, and the thought is that maybe Syracuse is a bit tired off of that effort.
Owen Daly to Brad Dumont. Dan Clark joins number 21 on the midfield as Princeton controls the first face-off of the second quarter. Dan Clark working against the defense of Brett Walker. Moving it up top. Jared Park, number 12, playing defense now. Daly drops his shoe. That's the call there, Quint. He comes right out of his shoe. Kind of unfair. They give him time to put it back on, did they? Holy smokes.
And he wasn't even in a dodge. Usually sometimes you see guys make moves and run themselves out of their shoe.
It's a quicker move than I thought. Nice tactic, folks. If you want to get possession and take some time, just come out of your shoes.
Daly, you might want to tie those before the game there, Owen.
Owen Daly coming down. Jared Park working defensively. Sean Hartopoulos up to the middle as Clark works on the far side. Clark's got some room. Back behind to Boyle. Boyle drives, passes defense. Check illegally. Backside of the play. Flag down. It'll be a penalty on Syracuse.
Sebastianski high and late right in front of the official off the initial dodge. Again, they're attacking Brett Walther, number 4. And Syracuse knows how vulnerable that can be, and they're double teaming. That time it was just blatantly high and late. Sebastianski has a seat. They call him the Seabass. Much easier than Sebastianski.
From Darien, Connecticut. Only a freshman, but groomed for this purpose, to play long pole defense in the midfield. So it's an extra man play for Princeton. They were 0 for 6, Quint, when they lost to Syracuse earlier this year. Bill Tierney knows that he's going to get these opportunities. He's got to have some efficiency on extra man. They start with Tierney behind. Great check on the crease. Joel Howard came in and absolutely hammered the inside, and he got called for a push.
Prager started out on the wing, and then he flashed inside. Kind of faked the pick for Owen Daly. And Tierney's got 2 options on that. He can jam the ball inside to Prager, which he did, or he can kick it to the perimeter for Daly, who has one of the faster outside shots on this Tiger roster.
Different rotations. Prager takes it behind off to the wing. They look up top. Gave it to Daly, but behind him as Hartopoulos comes up to the middle. This is Sean Hartopoulos, big left-handed shot. Foil the feeder. Back to Owen Daly. Hartopoulos again. Big shot there. Bounces it a little early. Too much rubber in the field, and that one goes over.
Princeton in the classic 3-3 set. Now with short time on that penalty, they'll switch up their formation.
85 miles an hour on Hartopoulos' last shot. Here comes another one, and this one just gobbled up by the abdomen of Pfeiffer.
Pfeiffer, the lefty, well aware of Hartopoulos' shooting tendencies.
Sal Bliss pulled down by Prager. No call made. Finally, they do. Butch West comes in there, but Prager literally tackled Sal Bliss.
Bliss playing with that left knee wrap. He's got the signature neon stick. Not at full speed, clearly, and Prager skies for that, blocks it, and then takes down Bliss.
Ball goes to Syracuse. Down by 1, 5-4, the score at the end of the first quarter. Nobody has scored in the first 3 minutes of the second one. Liefels, Mo, Quinn Kesnick, Steve Cyphers on the sideline, our ESPN exclusive coverage of lacrosse championships here in the NCAA. Nice and calm, slowly working around. Springer to Kaufman. Josh Kaufman, who plays in front of the goal and behind well. All-American at midfield and attack. Lieberman, the top dog for Princeton, on him. They know how important Kaufman can be. He's already got 1 goal today. Cutter doesn't want to feed. Lieberman staying on his hands as they go to Springer behind. Springer at 6'4", a load to try to block out. And obviously Syracuse looking for a little possession time here, Quint.
Springer was testing the waters, trying to take Scott Farrell to the net. Farrell really known as a crease defender, a guy who plays inside and he orchestrates the slide packages. But today, Farrell's goal is to shut out Mike Springer.
Powell rips one from the left side and went behind the net. He just decided he was going to go one-on-one and took Damian Davis to the front. Lieberman locked up on Kaufman. Over to Hardy. Hardy will shoot, and he rips it in the corner. Hardy was open up top. He was the hero of the semifinal game. He took it to overtime and won it in overtime. And the Tully High School great makes it a tie game.
It starts with Kaufman. He draws the double team. He gets the Princeton defense in motion. They try to slide, rotate, and recover, but the ball movement for Syracuse on the money. And Hardy, the confidence, you see the double team right there, and then they move the ball top side to the weak side. Hardy plants his feet, location, location, location. No way Gould's gonna make that save. Hardy, the hot hand, the senior, playing with terrific confidence.
Incredible speed on that shot as well for Hardy. Big push. Sebastianski. Look at the shot in close that goes wide. Wide open on the move was Jared Park with the great speed. And Sebastianski was pushed, looked like, on the face-off, Quint. No call there. A lot of wing play being critical to the possessions so far in this game on the face-offs. Syracuse, though, comes up with this one, and they're working around. Kaufman on the wing. Right goal. Powell behind. Springer to the goalie's right. This is Sean Lindsay. Lindsay, #1 defensive guy, Balger on him, but Lindsay just whips a left-handed shot. Syracuse gets their first lead of the day at 6-5.
Gould was frustrated after this goal. He's got to pick his head up. It's going to be a long day. Still tons of time. This is Lindsay. He just backs in, kind of posts up his man, deceptively strong, turns for the left hand, quick release, and again, the location to the off-stick side hip. Very difficult for a goalie to slide across there, and you can see Gould showing some frustration, but Lindsay's a guy who's got a bright future, only a sophomore, hurt his knee in their fall scrimmage this year, and it really kind of hurt his growth in the first month of the season, but he's playing his best ball right now.
Syracuse facing off against Perna for Princeton. They moved up from the face-off people after 2 misses. Syracuse's first lead of the game, as we talked about, 5 for Princeton and 6 now for the Syracuse Orangemen. But they lost 2 face-offs here to start the second quarter, and they put Perna in here, mixed it up a little bit, and they get a possession off that change. Prager behind, off to the wing to Hartopoulos, though. Be patient as they set up their offense. Clark to Hartopoulos to Owen Daly. Walker. Seems like the matchup they like against Brett Walker should be picked on a bit today. Inversion there, no angle at all as they went one-on-one against Pusha. Again, it's going to be a one-on-one against Dave Pusha, number 15. Princeton takes the ball behind. Brad Dumont. Pusha switches. Sebastianski comes back with a long pole, and immediately Princeton goes to another player. They don't like that matchup.
Trevenin, look for him to pass. Only 3 goals on the season, but about 13 assists.
Brett Walker gets caught on the behind the goal. The slide comes, men open back door. Here it comes. Ball falls out of the stick. Beautiful play. Push called on Syracuse. It will stay here. Sebastianski made a great play. Ball was on the field, and then he pushed.
Syracuse against the invert set, they almost zone it up in front. So when you do draw that double team, you can kick it to the adjacent man and then attack the weak side. The defensive strategy is very passive, and they're going to be giving up some shots when Princeton inverts.
And Clark draws the double. They rotate the defense. People are confused, but Dumont can't spot the open man. Sebastianski playing long pole there. Hartopoulos now with Billy St. George playing defense, and they work it behind. Brett Walker again gets picked on. Trevenin, backdoor, Boyle inside to Prager, but they can't find him. They had Prager, but they blocked it. Syracuse did. Give it to Piper, and now they'll have a chance to
A rare turnover by Boyle, and then Sebastianski got away with an interference call in front.
Syracuse weathers an intense offensive set by the Princeton Tigers. They still have their first lead of the game at 6-5, and now possession.
They will rest their defense here. This is what Coach Desko really has inserted into this Syracuse franchise. Understand when to run, understand when to slow it down. You've got a defense of Glatzel, Blitz, and St. George that need to catch their breath. Possess the ball for 30 to 45 seconds, and then attack.
Soliday goes back to Kaufman, Josh, back to Mike Powell, and then Springer on the wing, 6'4", takes it out wide with Farrell on him. Slowly gets to Lindsay, and they look at this matchup. They'll try to get a little pressure. No, they go back behind again to Soliday. So they've inverted, taking the short sticks of Princeton behind.
Soliday got the power against Perna.
Double team comes early and hard. And let's see if there are penalties against Princeton. Push call with possession, 30 seconds. The slide came aggressively and hard and almost worked.
Greg Goloszewski, he realized that Perna needed some help containing Soliday. Soliday had about a 30-pound weight advantage. Look at Soliday just trying to bully Perna. Goloszewski comes across the double team and gets him in the back. Anytime you can see a player's jersey right there, good time to double, but Soliday just didn't turn far enough. When you hit a player from behind like that, that's a 30-second foul.
Nobody has scored on the extra man play yet today. Each have had one chance, so this is the second opportunity for Syracuse. Again, the most lethal in Division I lacrosse. They go about 50% every other one. If the numbers hold, they'll can one here. Intense pressure on Princeton. Rotation, backdoor, up top. Here comes the rocket in the corner. Rope for Syracuse, and Springer, the hardest shooter on the team, from about 15 yards, ripped the corner.
The execution was fantastic. The shot was overpowering. Springer sets his feet, gets those long arms into rotation, and that's like being up at the plate with Randy Johnson. If you freeze it right here, if you can freeze, you see this is Springer. Spencer Wright will cut here, which draws the defender. That gives Springer some separation, some time. The pick is set. He clears his arms and blasts that one past a defenseless Julian Good. Well choreographed by the offensive coordinator, Kevin Donahue.
Score of the game was 5-3 before Syracuse ripped off 4 straight goals in this game to take now a 2-goal lead. Princeton now doing a better job on the face-offs, Quinn, and critical to their possession time. Bill Tierney, a master of using the different people to get that possession. 92 miles per hour on that sprinter shot.
From about 12 yards, that gives the goalie about 0.14 of a second to make that reaction. And truthfully, unless it hits you, you're not making that save.
Gould was actually in pretty good position for that. He went to the right-handed stick side. He went stick side, pulled it right by, which is usually deaf from that distance, and still scored. It's incredible velocity, folks, and that is the only reason that scored was because it was 92 miles an hour.
Get up, turn him.
Princeton now working the ball around to Hartopoulos, fakes it to Josh White, and they will take it back to Brad Dumont. Dumont, junior midi from McDonough.
Syracuse kind of zones it up in front here against this isolation. You see the quick help, and then the recovery. And that's where they've struggled on the recovery aspect today.
Slides being more effective by Syracuse. What do you say, Quint? They're getting to the man and making the check. Syracuse was confused in the first 10 minutes. They look comfortable now in their slide packages.
They've got to be. Oh, that's a 10-second violation against Syracuse on their clear. You've got 10 seconds to get it out of that, over that line that you see right in the middle of your screen. And Bliss a little slow on that clear. To me,
tough thing to do.
Defensively, it comes down to energy for Syracuse. Yeah, you're going to get beat a little on some of these isolations, but you've got to double and you've got to rotate and move your feet. If you're standing around, Princeton will pick you apart.
Prager behind. Josh White from St. Mary's in Annapolis, Maryland, on the far side, coming in left-handed, locks up with Hardy, goes all the way back to the other side, and Princeton will get a timely goal by Pellegrino. All by himself, Pellegrino was found by White. Great vision by Josh. Now it's a one-goal game again.
Josh White, incredible. If you freeze it right here, you see all the eyes of the Syracuse defense right here, those five guys, they're staring at Josh White. They expect him to go for the goal, but he has a lot of guts here and just slices that ball through the defense to the weak side. It's Pellegrino who's emerging as a hero. Great angle right there, as you can see that there was a lane right there for that pass to get through. Typically, defenders will put their sticks up in the air, those long poles, and try to deflect that pass. But Pellegrino's got two, an unlikely hero emerging for Princeton.
Always happens, and Bill Tierney counts on that in these big games. He is the master of working his team, as is John Desko. Both coaches using the chessboard to get their team in great strength. Hardy rips one for Syracuse. Lindsay puts one in the corner. Springer with a 92-mile-an-hour shot. Syracuse leads by one.
As you can see, the
Stadium, Syracuse leads by one. The faithful for each team here to root on Syracuse and Princeton. Leif Elsmo, Quinn Kesnick, Steve Cyphers on the sideline, the Princeton band. Q. First part of this game has been as exciting as anybody would predict.
People have often criticized Bill Tierney for slowing the game down. I don't know what games they've been watching, because the first quarter we had 9 goals. That sets a record. Take a look at the performance in championship games. Princeton 6-1, Syracuse 7-4. For Syracuse, it started back in 1983 on this field. Great comeback against Johns Hopkins players like Tim Nelson, Randy Lundblad, and Darren Lawler. That brought that program to a national prominence, and they have not taken a step backward since.
Syracuse with possession and a 1-goal lead, but it was Princeton who scored and really ended a long drought. They'd almost went a whole quarter. They didn't score since the 1:25 mark of the first quarter before Pellegrino found the net from Josh White.
Zone defense for Princeton. First time they've shown zone off the timeout.
They've got a lot of different looks, a lot of different slide packages. It's part of the confusion that they offer offenses. Inside, Soliday gets the ball. The check from Farrell helps send it wide.
Coach Tierney said he would use zone off of timeout to confuse Syracuse, but Virginia tried to zone against the Orange, and it was not very effective.
Good matchup for Kaufman. Owen Daly takes a right-handed shot, and Gould got a little piece of the face mask on it. Josh Kaufman liked the matchup with Daly, short stick defender, and went right after him.
The players chasing that shot. Remember, when the ball goes out of bounds on a shot, it's the player who's closest to it when it goes out. And you saw the foot race between Damian Davis and Mike Powell.
Mike Powell, 22, gets it up top. Spencer Wright, San Diego pride and joy of San Diego. One of the best players ever to come off the West Coast to play here in Division I lacrosse. Kaufman, now again. Owen Daly, Bill Tierney's very comfortable. Owen Daly on Kaufman. Puts his poles in different positions. Inside cutter. Again, it was right this time, and Farrell with the slide both times on the cutter to get a stick on the shot.
Spencer Wright, recruited out of San Diego by a former Syracuse defender, John Winship, who was in the Navy as a helicopter pilot out there, was volunteering at a high school in San Diego, called Desco up, says, I have got a talent for you.
I think we got one for you.
And that's Spencer Wright.
Inside this time, they connect. Second time to Soliday is the trick. And they put a 2-goal lead on the board.
Soliday's got 2 goals. The key here, though, if you're Princeton playing a zone, I don't mind the zone. But if you give a guy like Mike Powell time to stand behind the cage and pick you apart, let me tell you something, he will pick you apart. And that time, Soliday was well covered, but the pass was too accurate. Watch Powell behind the cage. He's got all day to find his teammates. I mean, this is like letting Allen Iverson set up top without any pressure, and he puts it right in Soliday's stick. I like the zone, but you got to get in Powell's face. You can't make it that easy.
Quint, we saw Syracuse absolutely rip apart Virginia in the semifinal when Virginia went to a zone. So you're really risking a little bit with this type of offense. Desco has got them patient. They can play the set offense, and they do it well. Princeton now off the possession. They've done a much better job in the second quarter getting those face-offs. Brad Dumont, number 6. Trevenant takes it behind on Brett Walter. This is the matchup they like. Again, Trevenant assists mostly, but he's had some big goals. 3 goals in his game against Dartmouth. He takes Brett Walter way off to the side. Walter trying to push him back to the pipes. He's keeping him behind the goal. Trevenant constantly looking out front. Gets a man up top. He's trying to get it up to Tierney, number 2, and couldn't get it through the defense. Pfeiffer, very calmly, Pfeiffer.
Anytime that ball is fed over the goal, defensively, you really expect your goalie to make that play. Cool, calm. Sometimes with the danger, that ball can actually deflect off your stick and back in the cage, but Pfeiffer, the redshirt freshman, showing uncommon poise.
Fresh legs in for Syracuse. 2-goal lead, 2 minutes to go in the first half of our NCAA Division I championship. This is the kingpin matchup, a repeat of last year, and the 2 dominant teams of the last decade. It's got everything going for it. Here comes Syracuse again on the offensive end. In close, big shot that just comes off the top. It looks like Gould may have got a piece of his shoulder on that shot.
Nice little pick play in front for Spencer Wright. He let it rip. Gould went down with the body and his hands, but at the last second just popped up and got his face on that ball. Reminded me of a shot in the '92 title game when it was Dom Finn and Bacigalupo made the big save in overtime, and eventually Princeton would win that game over Syracuse in OT.
Kaufman got a little double team, uncomfortable, back to Soliday. Soliday gets a double team, looks inside, and can't find Spencer Wright cleanly, but backed up nicely by Syracuse. They're really working perimeter to perimeter to keep possession. Soliday, got to work him hard. He's got a left-hand shot. Gould makes the save, follow-up. Springer with no angle brings it back. Kaufman will reset. Timeout called by John Desco. He's got a minute left. He wants to settle them down and make sure they don't give the ball back to Princeton with the 2-goal lead. John Desco, Kevin Donahue on the sideline with him. You see Bill Tierney right now. A little concerned about what his defense is doing, giving them second and third opportunities. NCAA Finals, Quint. A lot of teams have had shots at it. And a lot of teams have been watching these 2 for the last 10 years.
Lacrosse has been defined by dominant programs. In the 70s, it was teams like Maryland and Cornell and Hopkins. Then the 80s, Hopkins and Syracuse really defined that era. Then the 90s, it was all about the Princeton Tigers. The numbers right there speak of the dominant programs in lacrosse history. Sports growing, yes, but the top powers, still the familiar 4 this weekend with Virginia and Hopkins losing their semifinal games.
A little bit of a bottleneck in Division I with no growth. About 50 teams in Division I, Division III and II growing very, very healthily. Take a look at Gould. He's been active. A lot of pressure on him, Quint.
This was the identical, well, actually this is Soliday taking it to the rack himself. Awful strong once he gets ahead of steam. Gould, nicely done with the step for his left foot, sliding his body across. There he is, the junior, first-year starter. Remember last year's goalie, Trevor Tierney, a first-team All-American, the son of Bill Tierney, one of the MVPs of that championship team. They graduated about 5 key players from last year's title team, guys like Ryan Mollett and Matt Strebel, Rob Torty. But Gould has really kept the tradition alive as far as solid goaltending for Princeton. It's been part of Bill Tierney's MO since taking this program over in 1988.
At a Nyack in Valley Cottage, New York. 6'2", good size for a goalie. He can block it up, and he did on that one we just watched, getting his foot on it. This game started with Princeton scoring the first 2 goals by Hartopoulos and Pellegrino. Then Park and Powell evened it up at 2. The emotions died down. They kind of swapped goals. And then the explosion by Syracuse with 4 straight, really to give them a cushion that they hadn't given up yet. Springer off the timeout. Watch the clock, folks, because they'll want to milk that baby down around 10 seconds. Neither team wants to give the other more than 10 seconds to take it down to the other end. Soliday, Lindsay. He's got plenty of time. Lindsay pushing a little bit early. A little bit early for Lindsay to go inside. Look for the double. Back. Soliday into the crease up top. Michael Powell working from the top. Just shifts gears between the defense. Nobody can catch him. And now Lindsay down to a little bit more of a serious 25 seconds. Bulldogs, he's got a man behind. Soliday at X. And he bounces it off one of the defenders. The ball is loose. A sloppy pass. Gould to Damian Davis with 10 seconds. They've got some time. Let's see if they can get to their offensive zone. 4-3, it won't happen, but they really killed an offensive chance for Syracuse. Great defensive work by Princeton in the closing moments. Desco and Donahue confused on that last set.
Princeton was just packing it in tight. I couldn't determine whether it was a zone or not, but the key, Syracuse didn't have much off-ball movement. They weren't asking the Princeton defense to make any tough decisions. A lot of standing around. And the long sticks made the check and eventually cleared it upfield.
Steve Cyphers is on the sideline.
Coach, I assume you like the second quarter much better than the first. What do you do in the second 30 minutes to maintain that?
Well, you know, I think early in the game, we let some things go defensively. We started to shore up a little bit there defensively. From here on out, we got to win some face-offs. We got to get some good shots on this goaltender. He's having a good day today, and just run our offense. Our best defense right now is a good offense.
Any concern on your part, given the fact you had a double overtime on Saturday? The sun's coming out now. It's warming up a little bit. Any concern about fatigue?
Well, not right now. I think the tempo's helping us a little bit as far as that's concerned. It's a little slower tempo today. We're holding a little bit more on offense, resting our people there, and our defense has played a lot less defense so far today than they did on Saturday.
Fair enough. Coach, thanks. Leaf?
Thank you, Steve. And the 8-6 lead will follow Syracuse into the locker room. Princeton had the 2-0 lead to start the game. 2-goal cushion for Syracuse to end the half. Soliday's been huge. 6 times he's gone at the goal. He got 2 goals, one by Powell, and then the 8th of the game.
Real classics. Not just movies, but an in-depth look at what makes them great by the people who make them. Producer Erwin Winkler goes the distance with Rocky and why it was such a big winner.
It came at a time when America needed a hero.
Plus, witness rare, never-before-seen footage. Sylvester Stallone stars in Rocky, 9 Eastern Sunday, only on ESPN Classic. Get ESPN Classic. Call 1-800-CLASSIC today.
NCAA football opens its doors to everyone.
The doors are wide open for academics and athletics.
It's a chance to demonstrate excellence.
To show creativity and innovation both in the classroom and on the field.
NCAA football gives everyone a chance to be great.
Summer is here, and Dish Network has the best cricket coming to you live from England all summer long. Starting May 16, 2002, Dish Network brings you all the action of Sri Lanka and India's Tour of England, featuring 7 test matches and the NatWest Triangular One-Day International Series. Don't miss a minute of the action from May through September. Get it all for only $249.95 to purchase your full package.
The easiest, lowest cost way to order pay-per-view. Keep a phone line connected to your receiver. Tune in to pay-per-view channels 455 through 525. Choose your show. Hit select. Confirm your order. Enjoy. Tonight, order Dish On Demand pay-per-view with your Dish Network remote.
Our NCAA Men's Lacrosse Championships from Rutgers. Exclusive presentation of ESPN. Syracuse leading 8-6. It's been an absolutely electric game with offense, great field play, two tremendous teams. Quint, it's a great celebration of the best in lacrosse, but not the only one.
Yeah, this was an interesting year with the 6 automatic qualifiers, different playoff scenarios, and on the individual side, we saw some outstanding performances. Let's meet the 2002 first-team All-Americans in Division I lacrosse. Let's start on the attack. Syracuse University's Mike Powell put up nearly 80 points this season, blinding quickness and creativity. From Georgetown, Steve Dussault, 53 goals, a magical season for the senior. And then Syracuse's Josh Kaufman, the dynamic playmaker, averaging over 4 points per game. At the midfield, it's Kevin Cassis from Duke. This guy can do it all. He takes faceoffs, he plays offense, he plays defense, and he can score. From Georgetown, the long stick midfielder, Kyle Sweeney. A flashy long sticker. He loves the takeaway checks. He covers the opponent's best player. From Virginia, the quickness of Chris Rotelli put up over 30 points this season. And the powerful Adam Doniger of Johns Hopkins led the young Blue Jays squad to an outstanding season. On the defensive end, John Glatzel of Syracuse, a read and react one-on-one defender, picks off passes, makes all the plays. For Hofstra, Nicky Polanco, he's got the skills to strip the ball, the size and the strength to take it coast to coast. And from Cornell, Ryan McClay, a tactical genius, plays with an aggressive and nasty style. And between the pipes, it's Nick Murtha of Johns Hopkins. It's 1-goal game, senior season, and posted a 60% save percentage.
And of course, there are a lot more All-American awards as you go through the second and third team, Quint.
Take a look at the attack. It's Kessler, Boyle, and Gill. The midfield, you're seeing Spencer Wright today, Kevin Lavelle, Brad Dumont, and Mike Mollett of Maryland. The defense, Michael Howley, Mark Kuntz, who was injured from Virginia, Damian Davis, and Justin Sinar, the senior from Cornell.
Third team stacks up with a pretty impressive bunch.
Two crease attackmen, it's Bobby Benson and B.J. Prager. The freshman with the blinding speed, John Christmas. The midfield, Galen Beers, a revitalized Cornell program. And then out of the Ivy League, Chaz Gesner and Jim Moormeal, Kevin Boland from Johns Hopkins. The defense, Chris Pasavia of Maryland, Matt McFarland, the big senior from UMass, and P.J. DeConza from Hopkins. The third team goalie, Scott Schroeder, the left-hander from Georgetown.
Well, Quint, you know, they call this championship weekend. We're watching the semis on Saturday, ESPN2. We have the finals right now. Sunday in between is a very exciting day. Championships for Division II and III for men.
The Division II national title game featuring the Limestone Saints from Gaffney, South Carolina. They're in blue. That's Jason Randolph. He would finish this game with 3 goals and 2 assists. They're playing New York Tech. They're in white. That's goalie Matt Hunter down low to Paul Montali. This game was tied up at 1 apiece, but then Devin Spilker of Limestone makes it 3-2 in the second quarter. Limestone crushes them in the second half. 5 out of the next 6 goals. They win their second national title in school history. Moving on to Division III, it's Middlebury in blue against Gettysburg. That's Matt Dunn of Middlebury, one of the best midfielders in Division III, and Pete Milliman of Gettysburg. This game was knotted up early, but the combination of Zach Herbert and Greg Carroll would extend the lead for Middlebury. 5-4 at half became an 8-goal run. Middlebury, 3-peat national titles, 3 in a row for Aaron Quinn and Middlebury. The women's Division I finals in Baltimore. It's Princeton in black against Georgetown. Lauren Simone, the senior from Princeton, so strong off the dodge. Great capacity crowd on hand at Loyola. This time Simone loses it. It kicks to Charlotte Kenworthy. Everything going for the Lady Tigers and Princeton. Their depth so apparent late. Mimi Hammerberg to Whitney Miller. And then Elizabeth Pillion finishes off the Hoyas. It's Princeton, 12-7. They're the champs.
Our congratulations Our congratulations to all the champions, all the All-Americas. Don't forget Division III women Middlebury matched it up with the men in Division III. A tremendous year for lacrosse. We've got a whole half of this championship, so stay with us.
Told you if we showed up late, we'd never find a place to sit.
Check it out!
Dude, we are so close we can practically taste the action.
Bud Light is proud to sponsor 7-time Supercross champion Jeremy McGrath.
Now's the best time to buy a Suzuki XL7 with the powerful V6 engine. Third row of seats, rear air conditioning. Plus, the Suzuki XL7 received the highest overall rating of good under the conditions of a recent IIHS crash test.
Oh, A+. Plus. Who's next?
Now lease an XL7 Plus for $269 a month with 2019 to start.
Sports Illustrated's Football Blitz. 3 great gifts, free from Sports Illustrated and nowhere else. Get into it.
Our halftime score, Syracuse leads Princeton 8-6. 30 minutes of great action yet to come, and more halftime, too. We want to remind you that ESPN and ESPN2 have all your coverage of the 2002 French Open from Roland Garros. Jennifer Capriati and Gustavo Kuerten lead their title defense, the second major of the year in tennis. ESPN has 2 hours of coverage each day beginning tomorrow at noon. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Coming up next, Steve Cipher will have some of the stars of Syracuse. It's been pals for 7 straight years. We'll review that in a moment.
Warning, this movie is so exhilarating. It can only be seen in IMAX theaters and other large format cinemas.
Now, the ultimate movie with the ultimate thrills is on the ultimate big screen. ESPN's Ultimate X.
This guy's crazy.
Rated PG, now playing at IMAX theaters and large format cinemas. Check local.
In North Dakota, the adventures are legendary. And so is the fun. Pick up the trail of America's greatest legends to the adventure of a lifetime. Call for a free travel guide packed with ideas on exciting things to do and great places to stay. And make your own legend in North Dakota.
Network validation engineer.
I am a CAD designer.
I am the supervisor of a technology-based networking company.
We are educators helping people build a foundation for the rest of their lives. ITT Technical Institute, education for the future. To find out more, call 1-800-823-6312, 1-800-823-6312. Get an education that can help you reach your goals. ITT Tech has information on financial aid programs for those who qualify. Call 1-800-823-6312 today.
Welcome back to Rutgers Stadium. With me now, Casey Powell, Ryan Powell, Championship Team 95, Championship Team 2000, each 4-time All-Americans, but more important than all of that, they're the brother of Mike. Okay, tell me, right now, Syracuse is up by 2. You like the way Mike's playing? You like Syracuse's chances?
I like it. They're playing like they did in 2000. Mike's doing a great job, and they're really controlling the game. And I think right now, the only advantage for Princeton right now is that they use Warrior equipment. But I think Syracuse is going to do a heck of a job this half.
You mentioned 2000. Ryan, you were on that team, and at the end of the game, it was quite a scene when Casey came up and gave you a hug. Do you remember that? Do you ever look at it?
Oh, it was awesome. I still watch the tape. It took me a little bit to sit down and watch that one, but it was a special day for Syracuse to get the championship victory. But more importantly for me personally, I looked up to Casey my whole career, and it was a dream come true tying him at top the leaderboard. And it was, 2000 was just a great day for our family.
Number 22 is famous now. Is the 22 today the best of the three?
I think so. He's a great player, and he's he's just a great athlete. He's going to get a lot better. He's going to mature. He's playing in the World Games this summer in Australia for Team USA, and he's going to come back and I think have a great junior and senior year. He's already a heck of a player.
Ryan, watching these games, are you a little more nervous than you were when you're actually on the bench or watching the games on the sideline?
Oh, definitely. I want to be out there so bad, but just walking into this place and the atmosphere down here at the Final Four is unbelievable. But hearing the PAs when I'm walking in from the parking lot and the starting introductions just gives you goosebumps. Just to be back here is awesome. But I do wish I was out there throwing the ball around.
Terrific. You guys, thanks for your time. Syracuse legends right here, Casey and Ryan Powell. Now let's take a break and be back with more from Rutgers Stadium after this.
Hurry, Jake!
Are leaders born, or do they rise out of adversity? At AIG, we believe the greatest risk is not taking one.
It's here, waiting for you. Inside is unlimited strength and power. It builds confidence and reshapes your body. It can change everything. This is Bowflex, an entire gym in one easy-to-use machine. So powerful, it delivers over 60 health club quality exercises with up to 410 pounds of resistance, all in the convenience of your own home. Strength training with Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. And you can own one with no money down and payments as low as $33 per month. Bowflex is real. The results are real. The question is, are you ready for Bowflex? For a free video and brochure, call or go online at bowflexdirect.com. Do the research, listen to real customers, then place your order online and get started. Bowflex. Who said change isn't easy?
And get your free travel guide.
We're back at Rutgers, 8-6 the score at halftime. Memorial Day weekend wouldn't be anything without the celebration of the flag and the great veterans in this country, rather. Now we'll go to our ESPN game track, Quint, from the first half.
Ryan Boyle's been the main man, known as a passer. He's got 2 goals, but who could predict the success of Mark Pellegrino? 3 goals on the season coming in. He's got 2 already. Piper continues the strong showing that he exhibited on Saturday in the semifinals. The redshirt freshman is seeing the ball so well. The second quarter, really the difference right now. Syracuse outscored Princeton 4-1 in that quarter.
Steve Cipher had Bill Tierney just moments ago out of the locker room.
Coach, last year they get 9 goals the whole game. It's 8 in the first half. What do you do defensively to make the adjustments?
Well, we've got to have the ball. You're not going to stop a team like Syracuse for too long. We've got to possess the ball, take our time. I think we scored some easy goals early, and that gave us a false sense of security that we could score every time. So we need to hold on the ball, control things a little bit better.
Coach, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. Team's ready to go. First half, about as high scoring as you might imagine, Quint. Probably a surprise in that area. Let's take a look at the numbers.
Fairly even, though Syracuse in that second quarter putting a barrage on Gould. But look at the ground ball work. That correlates into more possessions. 29 ground balls for Syracuse, only 17 for Princeton. and then Boyle Pellegrino. They've got the 2 goals apiece. It's a solid day for Syracuse. He's the only multiple goal scorer. Otherwise, they've had tremendous versatility and depth of scoring.
24-17 shot-wise, some of what Bill Tierney was talking about. He needs a little bit more possession time to be comfortable. Princeton only 1 goal that quarter. They had a lot of goals, 5 of them in the first quarter, but only Pellegrino in quarter number 2. Set for the second half. Our exclusive coverage here on ESPN of NCAA Lacrosse Championship action.
Casino jumped. You got a great view of that one at home. Anticipating the whistle, trying to gain every advantage you can get, tilting your stick, doing all sorts of stuff. That's standard fare for the faceoff man, but Casino there caught, and the angle showed that he moved early.
Whistle on the sideline, and they're going to have just a chin strap adjustment to Michael Springer. They got double snaps, as you can see. The bottom snap wasn't in place. They will restart from there. No penalty. Soliday gives it far side to Lindsay, and they work the wide circle.
And that opening faceoff has got to drive Coach Tierney crazy. Talked about wanting to control the ball. They lose the first faceoff, surrender a quick goal.
And it was all Mikey Powell. Quick move from behind. When he came out and just released so fast that Gould could not even react. It bounces off his shoulder and goes in the net.
Powell unassisted. You can see Gould getting on the defense. Some kind of communication breakdown. Powell with his second goal right there. Davis and Lieberman do not cover the pick effectively. The ball trickles off the shoulder of Gould and into the net. Advantage Powell and Kaufman right now. They're outplaying Damian Davis and Lieberman.
Powell sort of pacing himself in the first half, saving it for the full run. And here comes Bill Tierney, knowing he cannot let the lead stretch on Syracuse's behalf. Trying to drive his team. They came in as the 4th seed, Quint. They've never won as the 4th seed with all their championships.
Their record was 2-4, and they won 8 straight games to get in the playoffs. Basically, they've been playing playoff lacrosse since the beginning of April. Remember, one more loss in conference in the Ivy League, they would not have gotten an NCAA bid.
Josh White takes it behind. Boyle swings the ball through Hartopoulos up top to Dumont. Brad Dumont goes for the one-on-one move. A little bit slick on the grass surface. Jared Park stays in position. And Syracuse kind of backing in their defense, keeping the shots well outside the danger area. Boyle on Billy St. George. Pushing inside, far side, Josh White, he's got a cannon. He wanted to go in closer, and he won't get that chance. White had room to take that shot. He wanted a little closer look, and Syracuse just collapsed on him.
Gobbled up by Glatzel, and then Billy St. George hammers Josh White. Syracuse starting to play with some physicality on defense. I thought in the first quarter they did not show their size and their power defensively.
Soliday sweeps from goalie left to goalie right. That is his favorite location, and he just lights it up with a low shot. 2 straight goals to start the second half. Syracuse starting to get a comfortable lead.
It starts with the defense, but Soliday comes down on a 3-on-4 or 4-on-3 opportunity right here. You see the point man picks him up, but it's just too late. The location is perfect in the corner. Soliday's got the hat trick. Started with the defense of Glatzel and company. They seemed to pack it in. I couldn't tell if it was their zone or not, but the support on the ball was tremendous. And White got taken down by Glatzel, and then the old run and gun Syracuse arm struck.
Casino pushed from behind, but his wing play really saving him there. And the stick is caught on the Syracuse. The actual shirt was caught on the Syracuse stick. Syracuse looking to take advantage of it. Powell coming around, trying to put pressure on goal. Wheels inside and finishes it. Dancing on the crease, but they'll call a crease violation. He stepped inside.
Play on violation. Princeton may have numbers here.
Princeton taking it right back down to Syracuse. 10-6, a 4-goal lead. Quint, Bill Tierney brought his team out late in the second half. He held them in the locker room for a long time. He knew how important the next 10 minutes were. He has to win the third quarter. A tough start for Princeton.
Syracuse on a 7-1 run right now. Princeton, he mentioned it earlier, we call it fool's gold when things go too easily in the first quarter. you take your success for granted. You get away from your game plan. Here's the shove. This is Rosenbaum. Somehow just loses his stick, I believe, or gets something tangled in the opposing player.
Bontades had his stick around his jersey. His jersey got caught in Bontades' stick head. It was an awkward moment that almost turned into a goal for Syracuse. And look at that opportunity. Tremendous job for Princeton as Trevenant just picks it up and in one move puts it past the goalie of Syracuse. Pfeiffer allows goal number 7.
That is the break that Princeton needed. This ball goes down to the ground. You'll see Trevenant, number 10, just a little hockey slap shot. Oop! It's over the shoulder of Pfeiffer. Quick little garbage goal. You see the swarm. Prager swats at it. Kind of scooped it up and just redirected. Heady play by Trevenant, his 4th goal of the season. The garbage, but that kind of breaks the seal for Princeton. They've been really struggling to put any kind of significant pressure on Pfeiffer.
A huge run for Syracuse, so it was a crucial goal for the Princeton Tigers. Face-off being pushed all around, finally picked up by St. George. No, he cannot control. Bodies flying everywhere, coming out of the pack. Bickle, up to Glatzel. He likes to go to the goal. Glatzel, far side, Springer, flicking inside, can't get the cutting Kaufman, and that was Mike Powell inside. And then picked off nicely by Lieberman. They read that beautifully. So Princeton, with a great pack-in defense, did not let the fast break work efficiently.
Powell tried to cut to the back door. Turnover, trouble.
Kaufman one-on-one. Kaufman looking for rope. He's got it. The back and forth of this game is chilling to the coaches. Princeton had dodged a bullet, and then they lose possession, and just that quickly give up a goal.
The clearing game rendering its ugly head for Princeton. The turnover, Farrell with the pass. It'll go off the stick of his teammate Bogger directly to Powell. Breakaway, nothing Gould could do here. Gould actually was close to making that save, but no way you're going to stop a player like Josh Kaufman on a breakaway. The poor clearing pass can't be caught, and then it's a one-on-one.
Powell waits to the last minute to give himself maximum range. Kaufman 2 goals. Powell 3 assists on the day. And the face-off control by Syracuse again. They have massive, not massive, but it's a healthy advantage. If you look at their roster, and you get kind of scared if you're a coach playing Syracuse, of the athletes. And you don't want to get into a running game where they're getting a momentum thing going. They have so many athletes they can roll out there.
And those cheap goals, when you give up goals like that in a championship game, that is just so disheartening if you're Coach Tierney and his defense. You work awful hard to stop Powell and Kaufman when they have the ball, but you've got to maximize your clearing opportunities, and that's a real freebie for Syracuse.
7 of the last 9 goals scored by Syracuse. Lindsay takes the ball up top with a lot of confidence. Owen Daly playing defense on him. Lindsay far side. Right to Soliday rather. Soliday gives it down to Powell, and Powell just lifts it to the corner. This team is full of confidence, and they've got a dynamic 5-goal lead.
Powell singes the corner. Look at the brothers. They love that shot. You can hear this one just crush the net. It's Soliday to Powell. The underhand shot. He thanks Soliday for the perfect pass. Here he is. Watch him step in, shuffle step, whoosh. Ball's in the back of the net. No way a goalie's going to catch up with that. So fast, so well placed.
Powell brothers, first 2 seasons, you can see the pace he's on to catch his brothers. He's ahead of them by that many goals, 153, 106, and 126. Ryan, in the middle there, had to play 2 years with his older brother, Casey, getting the ball more. To his credit, he had 2 sensational final years and had the best year of any of the brothers in his senior year, numbers-wise. But Mike is the guy right now that can rewrite that record book.
Syracuse defense playing with an energy I didn't think they had. The Bliss injury has been a non-factor. Glatzel raising the level of his game here as we enter the 3rd quarter. St. George just being a tough, hard checker inside. There is Saul Bliss.
Hasn't been a factor so far. He's played solidly on that injured left knee. Semi-final game working with Johnny Christmas, the explosive offensive star from Virginia. He hurt the knee, but he's out there today. Princeton with a lot of pressure now. 5 goals to make up on Syracuse went. That can work on you mentally. Josh White. Working on the goalie's right-handed side. Hartopoulos. Natural lefties in there. Hartopoulos on one side, White on the other. They both can shoot with other hands, but they like the left. There's a shot to the back of the net. Sneaks inside. Beautifully placed by Hartopoulos. He had about 2 inches of clearance above and beyond the ball width, and he put it right between Pfeiffer and the pipe.
Hartopoulos somehow with the jump shot, right-handed, beat Pfeiffer to the near post. A cardinal sin if you're a goalie. You want to put your foot right up against that pipe, like in hockey. Take away the near side. Your defenders are trying to take away the far side by their defensive positioning, and that's unfortunate. Billy St. George really in good position. The first mistake that we've seen Pfeiffer make, but credit Hartopoulos. That ball was put where it had to be put.
This is on pace, Quinn, to be the highest scoring championship in Division I in some time, if not forever. This is a ton of goals. 20 goals with not much more than a half a game gone by.
The game here in 1983 was awful high scoring. 18-17, I believe.
Let's take a look at the record book as we get into the fourth quarter. Right now, a lot of time left. Princeton just answered the Kaufman-Powell combination. And now Syracuse gets possession off the faceoff. A lot of time left in the third quarter. A ton. We've only had 5 minutes go by in this third quarter, and 6 goals have been scored. You can't even say, Quinn, there's been bad goalie play. They've been just exceptional shots.
Wonderful shot selection. Excellent offensive execution.
Syracuse taking their time with Mike Smith. Left-handed shot, but kicked out of the air by Gould. He saw all the way. Nice job. Goes to Lieberman. Has no help there as Lieberman gets hammered in the middle of the field. Slicing through everybody. He'll shoot, and it goes wide. Backed up by Prager.
Lieberman loves to carry coast to coast. In the Georgetown quarterfinal game, 7 times he crossed the midfield line with the ball. But the key to that play was Gould. Finally made a quality save against Smith. And if you remember, Smith's older brother, Chad Smith, the great defender for Syracuse in the mid-90s.
He loved to shoot from the defensive end as well. Princeton now reloading their offense. Down by only 4 after the Hartopoulos goal. A little bit of momentum there. Another one if they can put one on the board here. Prager out to Hartopoulos. Wheeling into the middle to Owen Daly.
Oh, what a fake! What a fake!
Fake came from the far side, turned Smith all the way around. Smith had no idea where the ball was. He's looking to the far side, and it was wide open on the fake.
Trevenant with the big Canadian box fake. Had everybody except Pfeiffer fooled and just couldn't bury the shot from the one-on-one.
Boyle. Getting a lot of work on him with the hard lumber, and he gives it up finally.
Bliss got some help from Sebastianski with a nice double team.
Sebastianski, only a freshman, number 42, getting a lot of playing time at that pole position, or the long stick midfield position, with Bliss being a little bit inactive playing the crease. They're really relying on the freshman today. Inside to Hartopoulos, can't believe it. He had the shot he wanted, but he couldn't get it past Pfeiffer. He went low, Pfeiffer was there.
The lefty went low on the lefty.
And Syracuse answers the other way, and look at Gould stuffing him there.
End to end, the fans love this action.
Transition with Hartopoulos, got room, goes in with a shot that was tipped by Bliss. Bliss just got a piece of it, lifted his hands, and here goes Syracuse. Not enough gas to get a fast break here as Hardy dishes it down and says, I want out, coach. The midfield's asked for a sub.
That was 80s style lacrosse, end to end, fast break after fast break, dueling goalies. Truthfully, that might have been Pfeiffer's best save. Gould went low to rob the Syracuse fast break, and then the defense. The last shot, Pfeiffer's, it was an off speed. He almost got beat on it because it was deflected and it was kind of floating at him like a knuckleball.
Looked like Bliss got a part of his hands there, kept the shot from being hard, but it did start with that save on Hartopoulos up in this end. It was Hartopoulos with the first shot, and Pfeiffer made the save. Intense checking in the middle of the field as they try for possession, picked up by Boyle. He has been sensational on loose balls. And the all-or-nothing check puts it back down the field, and he's still got possession. Boyle pushing in for the shot, and the check from behind by Bliss in his one leg gives it to Piper. Look at Bliss.
Bliss could not corner well. Boyle sensed it, but the hustle. These guys selling out. Bliss is awful slow to regain his wits.
If you see it, you call it.
Bill Tierney trying to get a call go his way. And Mike Powell settles things down. Holy smokes.
This is great. Tierney on the far sideline asking for the cross-check or the push on that last Boyle penetration.
Smith working the ball around with Syracuse, goes through Valone, but Valone tries a little one-on-one move. Little swim action, resets up top. Mike Smith, down low, pulled in by Michael Powell. Sets the pick for Kaufman, loves the roll dodge, leave him locked in on him. Kaufman had a goal in the semis right from that position using the power move after he roll dodges. Laberman puts it on the grass, but he waits for Kaufman to reset. Kaufman's asking the referee for that cross-check move. He's getting a lot of wood on his back. Michael Powell just freezes Damian Davis. And the feed handcuffs Valone. A little too tight, couldn't camera.
Look at the ride again.
Princeton, Farrell pushing it up to Boyle. A lot of pressure put on by Syracuse in the middle of the field. They're not giving them easy clears.
You can see the energy level. Guys like Glatzel defensively just much more aggressive here in the second half. Really challenging Boyle every inch of this field.
We talked about the history of these two teams. The recent history was last year, as you look at Bliss on Prager. Last year, disappointing loss if you're a Syracuse fan, as Princeton just beat them with a great tactical game.
Prager, the star on Saturday, 5 goals. Today, he's been limited to 1 shot. So Saul Bliss, with 1 leg, his only assignment is to stay in the face of B.J. Prager, and he's getting it done right now for Syracuse.
Power work on the wing by Josh White, but he had a double. Starts with George and Smith, doubling up on Josh White. Ball goes wide.
It's a smart strategy. Bliss, obviously his mobility is limited. He cannot come out to the perimeter and cover. Now, if I were Princeton, I would take Prager out of the inside, set some picks with him, hope to get a switch, and then isolate against Bliss. You've got to try to attack his mobility.
And you can't keep Prager off the board. He's too important for the win of Princeton if it were to happen. You've got to find a way to get the ball to Prager. Bill Tierney knows all the ways, and he is working on it, I'm sure, with a million different sets. Hartopoulos pushing into the double team. Underhands it to Boyle. It's going to run out of bounds. He was handcuffed by Billy St. George and company. Bliss came over to help out, and they were just wrapping his hands until he gave it up. Bliss was hurt in the semifinals. It was against Virginia. A game where Virginia had the game in their hands but lost it in the last 30 seconds and then overtime. But here's Bliss, Johnny Christmas working him hard, twisting the knee, and from then on, it was very unclear whether he would be able to play today. He's out there doing a great job as John Desko reworked that trio of defensemen. Those 3 guys for Syracuse have played together so long, they know each other as well as anybody.
Oh, a giveaway here. St. George couldn't handle.
Prager picks up the loose ball, and that is a momentum breaker. Coming back to within 3, Princeton throws a little ice water on the hot Syracuse Orangemen.
I spoke of the frustration earlier. This is just an error in fundamentals. Piper gives St. George a good pass. St. George at the last second saw Prager stepping up to attack him. Much like in football, a cornerback at the last second who steps down to cover a wide receiver. He bobbled the ball. Prager picks it up in full stride, and he has never scored a goal easier than that one.
Or more important, as his team comes back to within 3, striking distance, the Orangemen had scored 4 of the first 5 in the second half. They were leading 12-7, then Hartopoulos, and then Prager. Watch out off the face-off. Gould bounces it to the side. Jared Park pulled it right off the face-off and put intense pressure on Gould, who has looked comfortable after that first 5 minutes of the second half.
Park, so explosive on the wings of the draws, highly recruited out of Central New York. He's going to be a future superstar. Only a freshman. 8 goals on the season, 23 shots, but 82 ground balls. He leads the Orange in that category. Next year, I believe, you'll see him on the offensive end in settled situations.
Goal so important for Prager. 12-9 to 3-goal lead as we wind down the third period. Prager 2 shots, 1 goal, really held that much activity. Again, 1 goal, as you know, on the clearing pass.
Gould seeing the ball beautifully. Hoffman put it right in his face. Ball still loose.
I don't know if that was a push call or a crease violation, but they're giving, I guess, goalie interference, free clear, or possession 2. Yep, it's a free clear, goalie interference. Princeton will have the ball.
Difficult to outlet the ball when you've got the little rugrat Mike Powell running around making plays, and then Springer with his height. He gets right in your face, puts that stick up, and try to make a pass, and he blocks it down. So very difficult for the Princeton defense to get the ball out right now.
Coaches talk about Springer's wingspan, that 6'4", and the long arms. Very tough to clear over. Princeton now trying to build on that momentum. 12-9, they want to slow it down a little bit now that they're within 3. That's a comfort level that you like in lacrosse. Inside, Dumont, one more time to Hartopoulos. He rips the corner. It's a 12-10 game. Hartopoulos has 2 of the last 3 goals. He has scored 2 in the third quarter. 3 goals total.
Hartopoulos got hammered. You can see him shaking it out. But here he is, top of the key. The Syracuse defense gets rotating, and they're just a little late. That time he shows the underhand sidearm variety, steps in, and he's so smooth with his hands. Deceptive velocity coming from a small target. Hartopoulos, not the biggest guy in the game. His brothers were much bigger. They played for Duke, great midfielders, powerful guys. Hartopoulos, he's the brother with the skill, the youngest of the 3.
The first 3-goal run, Quint, for Princeton, and that is huge. They get possession off the face-off and time enough to get another shot on Pfeiffer. A little unsettling for Pfeiffer. He's had the 2 cannon shots by Hartopoulos sandwiched around the Prager goal on the miscue. 3-goal run. The first of the game for the Tigers. 12-10, and they are feeling the big momentum shift of confidence. Josh White. Going down deep with Jared Park.
Holding for the last shot.
White would prefer to go toward us for that left-handed shot. They switch up, put a long pole on him. Glatzel going right after him.
Smart
White
move by Glatzel to flush White out.
And they're shutting off adjacent. Trevenant comes out to get the ball and just hammered by Glatzel. Great job for Glatzel to almost single-handedly take away the Princeton opportunity as the clock winds down. But Princeton, after the big start of Syracuse, comes up with 3 in a row to make it an all-or-nothing last quarter. When we come back, we'll go 15 more minutes to decide the champion.
I wonder how our home equity loans do.
Back at Rutgers, a sensational day weather-wise, 12-10. It's heating up on the field and in the stands. Our game track from the third quarter.
Mike Powell, hat trick, 2 assists. His shooting accuracy on showcase. And Ryan Boyle's got 2 for Princeton. Prager, only 2 shots, but this last goal by Prager, this made it 12-9, was really a boost for him. Get him in the flow of the game. The easy goal off the failed clear. A nice little 3-goal run for Princeton. The quarter ends up tied at 4-4. But for a second there, this game looked like it was getting out of control for the Tigers.
This game was out of control. It was 12-7 with 5 minutes to go in the period. And then the 3-goal run has saved the Tigers. And if they start strong here, it's going to put intense pressure on Syracuse. Balger comes up with the loose ball. They do that like a clinic. Syracuse has faced
Princeton so many times. They know the little things that Princeton will do. They've got to face him for 15 more minutes.
Neither of the face-off specialists has really been able to gain an advantage. It has come down to hustle on the wings and positioning. And that time, Balger just the quickest to the loose ball.
Princeton still getting Casino off the field. They move it quickly, though. Far side, Boyle has a little bit of room. Glatzel on him.
Dumont has been quiet after a fine semifinal game. Dumont only has 1 assist. He is a powerful left-hander, but he's drawing the pole today, Sebastianski, and seems content to give it up.
Josh White's going to get the shots, and he brings it down, goes behind. Boyle up top, watch out, behind the back. What a save by Piper. It was an excellent shot with great location around the back, and Piper put his ankles on it. He is such a cool customer in the goal, Piper is, and he just calmly bounces that one off his ankles.
Creative set by Princeton. It's almost set a double pick for Hartopoulos there. The vision of Ryan Boyle.
He tried to go to Prager on the far side, but it was tipped by Bliss. Off Bliss's stick, and that's the referee call, off the stick of Solomon Bliss, who really legged it out from that 1.5 package he's got going, the hurt knee. Good look at Sol Bliss and what he's dealing with. Princeton has owned possession here early in the 4th quarter. They've got the momentum. If they carry it to the next goal, we'll have a 1-goal game, and they will have the confidence level. Dumont rips the corner. He got a little bit of room this time, and you talk about the left hand he's got. He can really rip it, and he found the corner perfectly.
Seamlessly shoots on the run. I just love the confidence that he played with on Saturday, and I was surprised in the first 3 quarters that we didn't see him pushing to the net, because he can score eye-opening goals like this. On the run, so tough to find the ball coming out of his pocket. Pfeiffer never saw it. Dumont, the junior from the McDonough School in Baltimore, the left-hander on the run. Those shots, Leaf, are so tough to pick out, as he is flying to the net.
The first 4-goal run of the day for Princeton, matching the longest run for Syracuse. Anybody's game now, folks, as the confidence level that was there at 12-7, almost the cockiness, has been erased. Hartopoulos with 2 rockets, Dumont with one of his own, Prager's opportunistic hustle, and it's a 1-goal game. Just what everybody expected. Scoreless in the last 12.5 minutes and counting. Last goal was scored by Powell. It came out with 4 of the first 5 in the first 5 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Since then, all Princeton. You feel like instead of the air going out of Princeton, when they got the 12-7 lead, Quint, the air went out of Syracuse a little bit. Maybe a little bit too confident. They've got to regroup. Lindsay looking behind for help. Princeton playing very tough position defense. Soliday far side. Inside, Michael Powell made the move he made against Virginia, but Lieberman, even though he was outside,
I don't like this pass inside.
Powell had him beat, couldn't even catch the ball. Took his eye off it for a moment. And Syracuse applying a little bit of hits. Watch out, Powell down low. Give it up, Springer. No, he doesn't do it. Springer had Powell down below and did not give him the ball. But it all started when Mike Powell took his eye off a backdoor cut.
So quick. Plants with the outside foot, cuts back to the middle, and then Goloszewski for Princeton trying to leg it out. Spencer Wright said he'll have none of that. The collision brought on the loose ball. Syracuse second chance.
Springer working behind. Big shot up top. How about Mikey Powell? He gives it the gorilla march, the muscle move. Tough shot for a tiny player. All 5'10" of them, 165, rockets it.
Springer finds him up top, sets his feet, straight overhand to the corner. Gould was cheating to the left. Love the rotation, the reaction shot from Powell. I'm the man, I'm the best player. Look at Tierney. The frustration, the clearing game has got to be driving him crazy. They had possession, but they couldn't get it out of their zone.
Look at Julian Gould. Quint, it's interesting how seasonal behavior and tendencies show themselves in big moments. They've had trouble all year clearing. You've talked about it, and it's showing itself in the big game. 4 goals on 7 shots from Michael Powell.
Variety, the key, velocity, and obviously location. But he mixes it up. You know, we've seen him with that sidearm delivery, the underhand delivery. That one was overhand. Some are high, some are low. Just so tough. Really ask you to be so patient as a goalie.
That had some smoke on it. Watch out, Dumont, the same spot, the same result. Brad Dumont, 2 in a row, and it's a 13-12 game. Talk about confidence. He wasted no time.
He's a glider in the mold of Josh Sims. On the run, full speed, left-handed. Look, they clear out the whole side for him. Syracuse's defense has got to respect the power, and there he is, just blowing it past Pfeiffer on the stick side. That may have been the book on Jay Pfeiffer. Shoot towards the stick side. Sometimes he tends to cheat away from his stick. Desko's shaking his head saying, hey, we got to respect number 6. Because Dumont's doing this single-handedly in the 4th quarter.
Goals scored 13 seconds apart as Princeton goes for the loose ball. Park can't pick it up. Ball still being pushed around for Syracuse. Finally, Park picks it up. Gets shut off. Look at Boyle coming up and turning him back. Glatzel with the great stick work. Watch him come inside. 2 players.
He can't go over and realizes it. Very smart play by Glatzel. All the Syracuse offensive players were on the offensive end. Had he stepped over that center line, they would have been offsides.
Great look up the line for Glatzel before he made the move. Syracuse a little tighter in their delivery with Princeton just giving them everything they've got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the last 6 by the Tigers. We're talking about goals and offense now. Important on both ends. Kaufman setting up with Lieberman playing defense. Springer very comfortably getting it up top. Hardy was the hero of the semifinal in overtime and in regulation. Here he comes with a right-hand shot. Gets it down low. Oh, and Mike Powell behind the back. Springer will back it up. Keep it in the offensive end of the Orangemen.
There's the matchup we talked about earlier. John Glatzel on the left. Senior from Boys Latin, a 2-time first-team All-American.
Look at the sweat.
Does it in so many different ways, though. His ball handling skills really bailing Syracuse out on that last possession. Can cover you, man for man. Loves to just hammer you with that 2-handed cross-check.
Ball comes in close. Tremendous move as they back up. Kaufman does. The nifty work of Valone up top. Diving inside. Oh, Powell takes it off the back of the net.
A diving behind-the-back shot. As he was flying through the air, the fans on the far side thought it was a goal and hit the back of the net. He is really testing Damian Davis right now. Powell, who got off to a slow start, truthfully, seems like he rationed his energy.
He's picking his spots without doubt. Both teams showing they can play the other team's style. Princeton born out of the control style. Well, Syracuse has learned to do that.
Dumont.
And Princeton has learned to run up the tempo whenever they want. They can do it with the best of them, and they are today. Owen Daly taking an ISO move and not going with it. Great move up top, and the stick check takes down the shot of Dan Clark.
That was St. George, and that was a huge play because he was at about 6 yards.
That could have been a goal, but St. George saves it. Underhand shot by Mike Powell. It goes Princeton way.
St. George, 4-year starter. Powell finally has a shot that Gould saves. His shots today have either been wide or they've been in. Gould read that one well, got his shoulder on the ball.
And that time, Quinn, it looked like Powell had a huge angle advantage. If he just brought it to the middle of the field, he had time to do it, but he elected to shoot right away. Credit Gould with the great deflection. Princeton, 1 goal down, but possession right here. Syracuse out shooting Princeton at this point in the game, 39-31. That was about the identical numbers right now of the first matchup this year. That's where it ended. We've got 8 minutes to go.
Walther holding White. No call.
Ball will stay on that side of the field. You saw the close-up of Glatzel. You saw the sweat pouring down. It's a very humid, hot day. Typical East Coast summer day. And these players are really feeling it late in the game. Josh White could be the hero of the game. He's getting the ball a lot. Inside, bounces it off. Looks like Pfeiffer may have gotten a piece of it. Watch out, Dane Clark. Coming in, Dane Clark's got a shot. Off Pfeiffer again. Two big stops. He's out here with possession. Pfeiffer with a trailing player. Boyle on his tail. And Boyle can't quite get it cleanly, but Pfeiffer's out of the goal. Kaufman trying to maintain possession. Stick is checked right out of Kaufman's hands, and here comes Damian Davis. He's got some room. Davis will go to the hoop. Looks for help inside, and the double team comes early.
Vidas off the bench now.
Crowd loving the tempo of the game. This game has been contested between the restraining lines, where many games these days aren't.
Fiercely contested, and you get to see the great athletic ability of a player like Damian Davis.
Sean Hartopoulos likes the left-hand rocket, gets in position for it. Underhander this time goes back, but Boyle in position to maintain possession.
Vidas, the redshirt freshman defender, number 16 for Syracuse, covering him. Bliss, though, with the smart double team. Stepped up to support his teammate defensively.
Trevenant goes way back for the one-on-one on Hardy. They try to get through again, but Glatzel so smart with the stick. Look how they ride Glatzel.
Taken down, a loose ball hold.
Hartopoulos was working Glatzel.
Glatzel's final game as a senior. He'll be playing on Sundays in Major League Lacrosse, really showcasing his overall game today.
Tremendous shooter against Glatzel every time he steps on the field. He always picks the toughest assignment, so Glatzel knows how to play against the best. Kaufman goes behind the Springer. Every possession full of drama and intensity. One goal. The Syracuse on top. Princeton had the 2-0 lead early in this game, and then Syracuse tied it at 2. White gave him a 3-2 lead. Kaufman tied it. It's been back and forth until that 4-goal run by Syracuse in the first half.
The Orange resting their defense for about 30 seconds, and now they'll attack.
Soliday powering in, right-handed shot, but gold. Easy save for him.
Easy save. Let's see if the clear is as easy.
Rosenbaum getting dragged by Wright. Spencer Wright. Rusty gate check.
Tierney calls timeout on the far side. So Gould, the save, Rosenbaum legs it up.
5:33, timeout burned by Princeton, but look at the interior play of both teams.
Are you at peace? Can you sleep at night, knowing what I'm about to do? In the end, can you look me in the eye, knowing I'm the judge, jury, and executioner?
WWF Judgment Day. Sunday, May 19th on pay-per-view.
When your friend joins Dish Network, you're in Club Dish. They get a system and a free installation. You get club perks.
Get in the club. When you call, you give, you get.
You get $60, a priority customer service number, and more. Lots of friends, lose the bill. You call, you give, you get. 1-866-845-CLUB.
It's more about love. Club Dish.
13-12, 5:33 left in this game. Lee Felsmo, Quinn Kesnick, Steve Cyphers on the sideline. This is everything we expected, Q.
These two teams have met before in championship games. You go back to 1992, final played at Franklin Field. Princeton trailed Syracuse by 5 in the third quarter. As they did today, they eventually won that game in overtime on an Andy Moe goal off a face-off. The heroes of that day, though, David Morrow and Scott Bacigalupo, the first national title for Bill Tierney at Princeton.
Tierney almost out of it in the third quarter. We talk about it, that 5-goal separation. And then it was Hartopoulos, remember? Prager with the opportunistic goal. Hartopoulos again with the rocket. Then Dumont got on his horse. Two great shots from the outside. They had a little time to set something up. Quint, what's been working?
Isolating against the short sticks will be their signature. Let's see if Syracuse owns it up here. Yes, it is a zone. Syracuse is showing zone for the first time today.
Billy St. George up top. Princeton very calmly goes around. You have to have patience against the zone, so the zone will slow down a little bit their offensive push, but if you're careful, you'll get your shot.
Princeton can possess the ball forever against the zone. The question is, can they get a high percentage shot inside?
Boyle, crease, behind the back. Holy smokes, Brad Dumont had an open net, and look at the hustle by Saul Bliss. That could be the biggest hustle play of the game.
And Tierney is just can't believe that Dumont took that shot on the sideline. He had Piper. He just had the whole goal to shoot at in a title game. Unfortunate decision by Dumont. The execution would have been sensational. This place would have been electrified. But he misses the goal, and it was controlled by Syracuse. Mark that down right there. Ooh.
Syracuse 1 goal in 20 minutes. A similar stretch for Princeton earlier in the game. Now Syracuse with the lead. 4 minutes to go. Let's see how they use ball possession and maybe a timeout within the next couple minutes.
Desco has 2 timeouts in his pocket. Tierney only with 1. He used that earlier timeout at the 5:33 mark. That shot as un-Princeton-like as we have ever seen in a title game.
Absolutely. A redirect. You got about an 80% chance of canning that one. Dumont, though, sensational, full of confidence with 2 goals in a row to put his team in this position. What a great check on the backside. Spencer Wright comes in. He's got pressure all over him.
Timeout, Syracuse.
Great play by Desco. The timeout as soon as the ball went into Spencer Wright's stick. Desco called a timeout. We'll take a short break ourselves and come back with the final 3:33.
When your friend joins Dish Network, you're in Club Dish. They get a system and a free installation. You get club perks.
Get in the club. When you call, you give, you get.
You get $60, a priority customer service number, and more. Lots of friends, lose the bill. You call, you give, you get. 1-866-845-CLUB.
It's more than love. Club Dish.
Are you losing your hair? Is that bald spot getting bigger?
Medical studies have reported the body chemical DHT is the leading cause of hair loss. We've developed Avacor, a natural herbal treatment that stops DHT from attacking your hair follicles. Avacor regrows hair in balding areas. We guarantee it. Stop DHT from ruining your life.
Call 800-621-3594. Now you can use Avacor risk-free for 3 full months. Call 800-621-3594.
13-12, Syracuse leads, but Princeton has been putting all the pressure on in the last 20 minutes. Look at Boyle behind. He'll find Dumont, the scorer of the last 2 goals for Princeton. Wraps it around the back. A dramatic shot that just misses the pipe. And look at Saul Bliss follow it up.
The reverse angle right there misses a goal by less than a half a foot. Bliss with the hustle, the dejection. Conventional thinking says just redirect that with your strong hand. And Tierney now has to regain the confidence of Brad Dumont and the midfielders.
Look at the record for Princeton and Tierney. 14 games, decided by 1 goal, 13-1, 12 consecutive wins in those 1-goal games.
Their last 1-goal loss, 1991, to Towson State. And that game was at Palmer Stadium. And Scott Bacigalupo, the Princeton goalie, came over to Tierney and said, "We will never lose a 1-goal game again." And they haven't.
He was prophetic in his statement.
That game went into 3 overtimes. That was the year Towson made it to the NCAA finals.
Let's see what they do. They put Hardy with the ball, Quint. Syracuse does, and behind the Soliday, so they put their ball handlers up top. Soliday and Hardy down below. A lot of beef and ability to protect the ball in Hardy and Soliday.
Hardy just leaning in and nearly warding off there. Can't use the free arm.
He was the hero in the semifinal. Look at Baldwin working him over. Ball coming out, and it's going to get picked up by Damian Davis.
Running for his life here.
Open in the middle, watch out, still on the field. Springer. Princeton gets it in their stick, and here comes Lieberman. Off to the races. Princeton calls a timeout. That'll be their second of the half. He's out of timeouts, but he'll have the ball for 2:45 with a chance to tie. Desco not happy with the way that unfolded.
Wow, Hardy just tried to bully his way to the cage. Just leaned in. The double team came from Bogger. And then the ball handling skills. Damian Davis legging the ball out. There was a pick set, and the Syracuse man ran right through the pick. Vicious.
Last two plays, born of confidence. Dumont, the confidence of the last two goals, goes a little bit behind the back. Hardy, a little bit confident from the semifinal win, goes a little bit too strong to goal.
Princeton's won 4 national titles in overtime, dating back to 1992. It was Andy Moe beating Syracuse, their first title, 10-9 on a hot day. Then it was Virginia 2 years later. Kevin Lowe took the pass and ended Virginia's hopes. 2 years after that, 1996, Jesse Hubbard from Lawrence Smith. And the luck continues. The overtime dominance last season. Boyle to Prager. It's in the back of the net. 4 overtime victories for the Tigers.
This team feels so confident in one-goal games, and you've seen the numbers and the reasons why. Syracuse maybe playing down to a one-goal level this year to get that kind of confidence. They, too, know how to win. In the semifinal, they had to do just that.
Princeton, historically, their only easy championship games were 1997 and 98 when they faced a Maryland squad. That was the great attack of Jesse Hubbard, John Hess, and Massey.
The attack that really got them going. They're going to put the ball back into Brad Dumont's stick to start the set win. Billy St. George against him. Looks like they're in that zone set.
They've rotated St. George up to cover Dumont. Vidash comes in, number 16, down below to guard Hartopoulos.
St. George there. Vidash coming up on Hartopoulos. That's the matchup we talked about. A little bit conservative on your moves early. Don't forget, no timeouts for Tierney. About 2 and change you see on the clock in the game. He doesn't want to give the ball back. Dan Clark, he was brought to the press conference. So Bill Tierney thinks that Dan Clark, number 21, could be a big factor, have a big moment, and he's on the field right now. Dumont, right-handed. Billy St. George looking for the big takeaway check.
St. George gave him the right side. Smart move by the veteran defender, knowing that Dumont is predominantly a left-hander.
He scored those 2 goals left-handed. Josh White, he's got a big shot with the left. No angle now.
Walther has been tested all day. A little shaky beginning, but he's been solid in the second half.
Into the crease area, and Piper picks it out of the air. Can they clear? Princeton has been relentless on their attack of the clearing. Flats on the far side to Billy St. George.
Syracuse with 1 timeout left, but you need to get the ball over the midfield line. He's going to have to use it here because Vidash is not hustling the ball into the box.
Finally they do, and he should do it. There he goes. A minute left. Now Syracuse with possession. Timeouts expired. Desco will set up what he hopes is the final 60 seconds of possession. He doesn't need a goal, obviously. Different for him. Steve Cyphers on the sideline with some comments. Steve?
Hey, Leaf, if this does go into overtime, if the Tigers get it even, watch 12, watch Prager. He's the only one on the team who scored an overtime goal. He scored the one a year ago from Boyle in the championship game. This year, 1 overtime game against Duke. It was Prager with the goal with the feed from Boyle.
The perfect finisher, B.J. Prager. Really a force to be reckoned with. In the semifinal game, 5 goals, and he's impossible to handle. And you think you're covering him, but again, the way people talk about covering is to front him like Bliss has and keep him off the ball.
That last possession, it was Boyle operating behind, jammed it inside. There's a tremendous trust between Boyle and Prager. Boyle will throw the ball to a spot. Prager will flash to that spot and redirect. But credit Bliss making the defensive stop on the most crucial possession of Syracuse's season.
Quint, different situation. Princeton needed a goal. They had the ball. Syracuse has the ball. A minute to go. They don't need a goal. What will the strategy be to hold the ball in the box?
This is the last possession. You'll see Prager inside will cut off the screen. There he is flashing towards Boyle. Well tied up by 2 defenders, Vidash and Bliss. With less than 2 minutes to go now, Syracuse is going to have to keep this ball in the offensive box. Look for Mike Powell to handle. They've got their quickness lineup out there. Hardy, Soliday, Spencer Wright, Springer. This offensive box right here, right there with the stripe line and on the far side. In under 2 minutes, the team leading must keep the ball in that area.
Joe Rosenbaum over on the far side, looking to get the ball back. They start the ball in the possession of Kaufman.
Princeton's goalie, Gould, will eventually come out here. There'll be an empty net.
Kaufman maintaining possession. He's got a solid frame. He's caught on the end line. He's got to get out. He's tied up. He's not a speedster like Powell. He's got to give it to somebody with a little bit better wheels to run out of trouble.
Gould is out of the net. Here comes the double team.
Double team comes when the goalie comes out. Farrell now trying to get Mike Powell. He's got a little more wheels. Watch, he'll be tougher to carry. Tougher to find, tougher to catch. Davis trying to get Powell. Powell just trying to run for his life. They're trying to burn the clock. Spencer Wright. Lieberman can't catch him. They're moving the ball quickly. Tom Hardy back to Spencer Wright.
4 corners done well here.
20 seconds. There's still time for Princeton to get the ball and win this thing. Pushing him out. He's got to throw it in. Spencer Wright. No.
He stepped on the line.
11 seconds, and folks, it's not over.
You need a long clearing pass. No timeouts for Tierney. You need a long clearing pass.
Should be a quick
and a Hail
reset.
Mary shot.
Reset now. Countdown from 10.
They need to crash the goal here.
Ball picked up in midair by Syracuse, and that'll end the game. Picked up by, guess who? Glatzel. No, a flag down.
Flag on the far side.
Wait a minute. The team's coming out, but there's a flag on the play. And they're calling with 1 second on the clock. Desko saying get off the field. Desko's begging his team to get off the field as there's still 1 second on the clock. Now there's no time on the clock. The chief bench official threw a flag, it looks like, from the far side. Tierney looking for one little chance for another shot.
Some kind of substitution violation on the Syracuse bench. Maybe too many men, maybe an offside.
They put 6 seconds back on the clock. This is enough time, folks, to get a shot.
Let's see.
Unbelievably dramatic change around.
Let's see where they position the ball.
Crowd not liking it. They thought it was over. At least the Syracuse crowd thought it was over.
Princeton positioning their players in front of Pfeiffer, hoping for a deflection and a screen shot with 6 seconds to go. Player will probably take a step or two. Hartopoulos may handle, and he will just send this goalward. He's being covered by Glatzel right now. Glatzel's going to do everything in his power to block this shot.
What do you do down below, Quint? You get up on your men. They've got a lot of room. Dumont's got plenty of space up top. Pfeiffer, I feel, is going to have to make another save for this game. They have enough time. If they don't go out and pick up a Dumont, they're going to get a shot.
It's a time-serving violation, so Syracuse is a man down right here. They only have 5 defenders on the field.
It'll be up to Pfeiffer. You can almost bet. Ball starting with Hartopoulos. Boyle, Dumont, the closest guys to him, right on the mid-stripe there.
In case of a shot, remember the ball must go across the goal line before the clock shows 0-0. It's not like basketball. The ball must be in the net before 0-0s.
Coach is still talking on the sideline.
Remember, Princeton won their quarterfinal game. There were 12 seconds remaining. They got the ball against Georgetown. Boyle went to the goal, and they won that game with 4 seconds to go. They have pulled out wins in this type of situation.
Tierney arguing for every advantage he might be able to get on this play. He's got the man advantage. He doesn't have much time, 6 seconds, but boy, when you throw the ball quickly, that's going to equate into a shot on Pfeiffer. You almost feel certain that Pfeiffer's going to have to make a save for Syracuse to win this thing in regulation.
Great shot there. Desko coaching his men. Tierney making sure that this call is done in an equitable and correct fashion.
I think the referees are not helping the players by having this go so long. You've got to restart this thing and get it moving. National championship on the line. Hartopoulos, Dumont, almost loses it. Up to Hartopoulos, he does. The game is over. Syracuse has won another national championship. You ask for a dramatic game, you get the 2 best teams, and you're still surprised highest at the level of play. It has been everything we hoped. Each team taking the other to the limit. Syracuse pulling out a 1-goal win.
The two dominant programs in recent lacrosse history, toe-to-toe today. An offensive display of fireworks, capped off with some gritty Syracuse defense down the stretch. Coach Desko, 4 straight trips to the finals. He's got 2 titles in his 4 years as head coach.
Princeton on the other side gave it their all. Bill Tierney so close to doing the impossible after being down by 5. Brought his team back to almost an unbelievable
6 seconds to go. You have time for 1 pass and a shot, and I still believe, you see Dumont right there kind of fumbling the ball. Glatzel comes up, makes the play. Game over. Frustration. I remember back in 1987, the same scenario with Cornell. You've got to get a shot goalward there. If you're Princeton, screen the goalie, take the outside shot. At least you have a shot. How frustrating is that not to get the final shot?
And how about this senior group for Syracuse, Quint, as we look at Bill Tierney?
Asking, what are we doing? Exactly. Shoot the ball.
You know you've got to let it go. You've got to test Pfeiffer. But they didn't get the shot off. So that'll do it. Syracuse with a dramatic win over an unbelievable foe, the Princeton Tigers. They win by 1. Our final score, Syracuse 13, Princeton 12. Coming up next, Women's College World Series. Stay with us for that. It's been dramatic and exciting. For Quint Kesnick and Steve Cyphers, I'm Lee Felsmo. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again next year.